Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha, Jaya Girivaradhari, Jaya Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana, Jamuna Tira Vanachari, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Radha Radha Nata Radha Radha Nata Radhe. Jai Radha Damodar Radha Damodar Radhe. Jai Gauranitai, 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 Jai Gauranitai. Jai Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Jai Giri Govardhan. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Privarakcharya Asatastara. Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Om Vishnupada Paramhamsa Privarakcharya Sudasara. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj ki jai. Anantagoti Vaishnavrinda ki jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem Sakuho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Radhanath ki jai. Shriman Mahaprabhu ki jai. Shri Giri Raj Govardhani ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Go Premanande Hari Hari Bo. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So today we'll be reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 13. Text 20. I'm still thinking which text I'm doing. 22, okay. Yeah. Text 22. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So the verse as follows. Kim vamo vena udhisya. Kim vamo vena udhisya. Brahma dandam ayuyajan. Dandavratadhara Rajne, Dandavratadhare Rajne, Munayo Dharma Kovida, Kim Vam Hom Vena Udhisya, Brahmadhandam Ayuyajan, Dandavatadhare Rajne, Munayo Dharma Kovida, Kim Vamo Vina Udisya, Brahmadhandam Ayuyajan, Dandavratadhare Rajne, Munayo Dharma Kovida, Kim Vamo Vanedisya, Brahmadhandam Yuyujan, Dandavratadhare Rajne, Munayo Dharma Kovida. Kim Vamo Vinadishya, Brahmadhandam Ayuyajan, Dandavratadhare Rajne, Munayo Dharma Kovida. So we'll do the word for word. Kim, why, va, also, amhaha, sinful activities, vene, unto vena, adusya, seeing, brahmadhandam, the curse of a brahmana, ayuyajan, they desired to award, Dandavratadhare, who carries the rod of punishment, Rajne, unto the king, Munaya, the great sages, Dharma Kovida, completely conversant with religious principles. Okay. So the translation is as follows. Vidura also inquired, how is it that the great sages who were completely conversant with religious principles desired to curse King Vena, who himself carried the rod of punishment and thus awarded the greatest punishment, Brahma Sapa? So you may repeat, Vidura also inquired, how is it that the great sages who were completely conversant with religious principles desired to curse King Vena, who himself carried the rod of punishment and thus awarded him the greatest punishment, Brahma Sapa? So we'll read the purport, the short purport by Srila Prabhupada. It is understood that the king is able to give punishment to everyone, but in this case it appears that the great sages punished him. The king must have done something very serious, otherwise how could the great sages, who were supposed to be the greatest and most tolerant, still punish him in spite of their elevated religious consciousness? It appears also that the king was not independent of the Brahminical culture. Above the king was the control of the Brahmanas, and if needed, the Brahmanas would dethrone the king or kill him. not with any weapon, but with mantra of a Brahma Sapa. Brahma Sapa, S-A-P-A. The Brahmanas were so powerful that simply by their cursing one would immediately die. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaya Tadati Swapadantikam. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Vanchakalpatarubhescha Kripasindubhe evacha Patitanam pavinebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So we find in this verse and purport that we're talking about King Vena. King Vena was the king of that era, of that time. And we find that there's also the Brahmanas, and the Brahmanas decided to get rid of him because King Vena was a very cruel personality. He was a cruel king. And, the citizens were basically bereft of everything because King Vena used to take everything for himself and nothing for the citizens. So in this way, he was a rogue, a thief, a dacoit, like this. And therefore the Brahmanas wanted to get rid of him. So it is being described here that actually the king is supposed to award punishment to, those who do wrong, right? Or go against the Vedas. But here we see that the Brahmanas want to get rid of the king. So this is like, controversial in that sense. So we find that in the Bhagavad Gita also, Krishna states that he has created the 4 divisions of society, Chatur Varnyam, Mayashistam. So in this way, each part or each leg of the society, or each part of the society is supposed to do its function. Like it's being described, you take the body as a whole, and the Brahmanas are the head of, the head. The Kshatriyas are the arms, the Vaishyas are the belly, and the Sudras are the legs. So we'll just define each one of these. So the Brahmanas are the intellectual class of society. They represent the head. And they are meant to give spiritual knowledge, to enlighten society on how to live, So when Prabhupada started this movement, then he basically saw that there was no Brahmanas, and therefore he created a society of Brahmanas where we could go out and give this knowledge to everyone, and in this way elevate the consciousness of everybody. So, a society without a head, headless society, what is it, right? We can take an example of a fowl or a chicken, being cut, the head being cut off, and it's like prancing around. So, right? It's a jump. It's basically hopping around, right? Because it doesn't have a head, and it's like just jumping and for its life, basically, right? And we find this is what society is all about today, right? Society is all about, a headless society. So, and we are all flapping our wings and, we don't know where we're going, in which direction we're heading to. Comfort. So, you can enjoy the joke later, right? So yes, so we are basically flapping our wings, not knowing which direction we are going, and there's no leaders to actually guide us, because the leaders have actually are blind, and Prabhupada says, blind leading the blind. What's going to happen? They're going to fall into a ditch, right? And so therefore, the whole of society, not only in South Africa, but the whole world is basically led by blind leaders. And that was the Brahmanas, right? And the Kshatriyas are meant to give protection to the citizens, and in this way, they're the arms of the body, and they're meant to render protection to the citizens and for the upkeep of society. The Vaishyas are the belly, and they're meant for food production. Right, so they can supply food to everyone. And the Sudras are the legs, and they are the working class. So Prabhupada says, actually, in this day and age, there's no, everybody is a Sudra. Hello, Sudra Sambhava. Everybody in this Kali Yuga are Sudras. Excuse me. So in this way, because we are all Sudras, right? So Prabhupada has come to give us knowledge and create Brahmanas so that we can actually help society in this way, and they won't be headless, right? It won't be a headless society. So I just want to read something from this book. This book is entitled Shri Shri Radharanath Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. This book is entitled Light of the Bhagavat, and I gave a seminar on this, online seminar. So I'm just taking out something from here that Prabhupada actually, this book is made up of analogies, right? And Prabhupada gives a purport on the analogy, so I'll just read that. So it's analogy 21. And this is taken out from the 10th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. The wind carries the clouds to different parts of the globe, and the clouds distribute rain to the satisfaction of the people in general, such as rich kings and merchants, just as rich kings and merchants distribute their accumulated wealth inspired by religious priests. So, we'll just read this. The purport. As already explained, the four divisions of society, namely the intelligent class of men, the Brahmanas, the ruling class, the Kshatriyas, the mercantile class, the Vaishyas, and the laboring class, the Sudras, are meant to achieve one goal in life, self-realization, or cultivation of the human spirit. The intelligent class of men, the Brahmanas, are to inspire the Kshatriyas and Vaishyas in performing sacrifice for spiritual cultivation, and thus the cooperation of the Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, and Vaishyas uplift the people in general, or the ordinary laboring class of men. As soon as there is this cooperation between the four classes of men in society stops, and the basic principles of spiritual culture are neglected, the social structure of humanity becomes a second edition of animal life, based on the propensities of eating, sleeping, fearing, and mating. It is the duty of the intelligent men to influence the members of the richer communities, the Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, members of the Vaishyas, to sacrifice for spiritual culture. Only in this way can the tension between the capitalists and laborers be well mitigated. In the age of Kali, when a slight difference of opinion leads to quarrel, even to the extent of riots, it is the duty of the intelligent men, the Brahmanas, to selflessly inspire the richer people to sacrifice for this purpose. It is suggested herewith that the men of the intelligent class should not themselves try to become Kshatriyas or Vaishyas, nor should they engage themselves in occupations of various other classes. Rather, the Brahmanas should simply guide them in spiritual cultivation, just as a wind carries the clouds to other places to pour water. The wind itself does not take up the responsibility of pouring water. Something comes to mind, and I have to share this. So, here Prabhupada is talking about when there is an imbalance in society, then people start to riot and all of this, right? So if you remember, during COVID, we had the riots, right? And people were not satisfied with, whatever. And then there was riots and looting and all of this. And, and the people were passing rights, across here, and everybody thought that the temple is being attacked and all of that. So here Prabhupada mentions that we should not, the Brahmana class of men should not try to become Vaishyas and, or like Vaishyas or Kshatriyas, right? But we should keep that position as Brahmanas. So I was just thinking, during that time, it's according to time, place, and circumstance, we have to act accordingly. And during that time, the devotees were walking around with, with sticks and all of these things. Just, those who were basically protecting the other, like the Matajis and all, the men were, in the temple, or they were walking around, carrying all these weapons with them. Not guns, but sticks and whatever, So in this way, it's according to time, place, and circumstance that we have to actually do the needful, right? So the most intelligent men in society are the saints and sages who have sacrificed everything for the service of spiritual culture. Their duty is to travel throughout human society and inspire its members to engage themselves in acts of spiritual culture by sacrificing their words, money, intelligence, and life. That should be the theme of human life in order to make it a complete success. A human society with no taste for spiritual culture is a blazing fire, and everyone in that fire perpetually suffers the threefold miseries. As clouds pour water on a blazing fire in the forest and thus extinguish it, the intelligent men who work as the spiritual masters of society pour water on the blazing fire of miseries by disseminating spiritual knowledge and inspiring richer sections of society to help in the cause. Temples of worship, for example, are constructed by the rich, and these temples are meant to impart spiritual education, to people in general. Their periodic spiritual ceremonies are held for inspiration and not for exploitation. If there are flaws now, because of Kali Yuga, they should be rectified, but the institution must be saved. So this is Srila Prabhupada giving a purport on this analogy from the light of the Bhagavad. So yes, devotees, we basically these are the four divisions, and here in this verse and purport, Prabhupada is speaking about that, and how for the upkeep of society, then King Vena was basically eliminated to re-establish a righteous king on the throne, and in this way lead society by example. So there's another verse which is basically, in the Bhagavad Gita also, it has been spoken about that everything here is topsy-turvy in Kali Yuga, right? And every leader should be like King Vena, at least should be like King Prithu. But here we see that all the kings are like, or all the presidents, of the world are like King Vena, and they are stealing from the from the coffers, basically. They're stealing, and in this way they are maintaining their lives and families and whatever, although they are being paid a huge sum of money, but still they want more and more and more. This is greed, So in the Bhagavad Gita, it is being described that rains are produced from sacrifice. When the sacrifice is done, and to satisfy the demigods, then rains, the demigods are pleased, and rains are awarded to the living entities, right? So this is the method, basically, and from rains, grains are produced. So grains are produced for the upkeep of society. But nowadays, we don't have the qualified brahmanas to chant the Vedic mantras. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give us the Sankirtan Yagya for this age, and the Sankirtan Yagya for this age is Harinam Sankirtan. And Srila Prabhupada said once that this Harinam Sankirtan will save the world in its darkest hour. So we see there's so many trials and tribulations that's going on in and around us, right? But this, and we are basically, if we do not follow this process, we'll be enveloped in all of these struggles of society. But because we have taken the shelter of Srila Prabhupada and the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, we are basically, in one sense, saved from that, from all these miseries that people on a daily basis go through. So I just want to speak about an ideal king, right? So the ideal king basically possesses the qualities of integrity, compassion, mercy, and all these good qualities of like Brahmanical qualities, basically. And because he's taking instructions from the Brahmanas on how to live, to rule, basically. So in bygone days, this is how the kingdom was ruled. The king, he's a Kshatriya, he's sitting on the throne, and the Brahmanas, they would impart knowledge unto him on how to rule society. So in this way, there was no scarcity of anything, and everybody was satisfied, right? Take, for example, we have like Maharaj Parikshit, for example, or Lord Ramachandra, or there's so many ideal kings in the Bhagavatam. There are basically, King Janaka, right? They basically had so much of qualities of a leader, the qualities of a leader, that no citizen went hungry to bed, or if, and nobody died at that time. And if anybody died untimely, then the fault was on the king. The king did something wrong. So they would go up to the king and, express their sorrow and ask the king, what went wrong? Because, my child has died untimely. What went wrong? So in this way, the king had to answer for that. So we see that today's leaders are not of that quality, and everything is going topsy-turvy in today's day and age, right? It is being described in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Yad Yad Achariti Shrestad, Tat Tad Eva Tarojana. I forget the verse now. Oh, anyone can help me? Okay, anyway, it's verse 321 of the Bhagavad Gita. So the spiritual leaders should set a proper behavior in order for the citizens to follow. So we find that in that purport, Prabhupada is speaking about the ideal leader, and he says the ideal leader is someone who can teach people by proper behavior. You know, a leader cannot be smoking, right, and ask his fellow citizens to stop smoking. It doesn't make sense. He said he should be an acharya, one who leads by example, and an ideal king or leader will follow scripture. So in this way, by following the scriptures, he would get knowledge on how to actually behave, and just by seeing his behavior, the citizens will actually benefit in this way. So Prabhupada says that natural leaders are parents, teachers, kings, heads of states, and more recently in South Africa, the Springboks, right? Because the Springboks have won the World Cup, and everybody is looking to them, right? Everybody is, when they arrived in South Africa, everybody is like, went to the airport, and they are giving them so much of adoration, and in this way we find that people of this caliber also are leaders of society, and people look up to them. I want to become a rugby player just like Sia Kalusi, like this. So people in this way, they will look up to leaders of that, like that. So therefore, leaders are basically meant to set an example for people in general. So like Srila Prabhupada, when he went to London and met the Beatles, and he says you should chant Hare Krishna, so everybody can actually gain benefit from this chanting of Hare Krishna, because everybody looks up to you, and in this way they produced a record on, right, the Beatles. So and so many people, thousands and millions of people around the world basically got the benefit of hearing the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So in today's society, we don't have a perfect king, a perfect leader, and there's so much of problems, right? Load shedding, water crisis, poverty, housing, and the list is endless, right? But if we have proper leaders who are following the scriptures, then everything will be everything will be rosy, basically, right? Everybody leads a wonderful life. Right, and then there won't be any riots and disturbances in society. So people follow leaders and to emulate their behavior. So like a father, he has to set a very high standard if he wants his child to improve or be a person of good character, then he has to possess good character himself, right? If he doesn't possess good character, how can the child follow? Because children, they very easily, they imitate their adults. They imitate the adults, like just say Rukmini, for example, right? She's such a great scholar, and what a wonderful personality she has. And then her niece, is taking up after her by just watching her, in producing dramas and doing all these services. Then her niece is actually benefiting from that. So we have examples of devotees right here that we can actually look up to, and how people are being influenced by their personalities. So like this, the parents should be ideal personalities in order for their children to emulate that, right? And yeah, so if you have great leaders, then we won't be having climate change and natural disasters and all of these things, because the world will be like Satya Yuga, like, perfect. Well, it's not perfect, but it'll be something like Satya Yuga, where everybody was in the mode of goodness. So when everyone's in the mode of goodness, then you don't have all of these calamities that we're having today, right? So as devotees, we should actually practice and teach others also how to practice nicely by setting an example, right? Also preaching, setting an example so people can follow. So as I said previously, that Prabhupada created a society of Brahmanas, and although sometimes we may have our different occupations, that's there, but in spite of all of this, we should still try to lead by example so other people can follow. So I think I'll stop there, and if there's any comments or questions, we can take them now. Yes, Comfort.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, so Prabhupada likes saying this a lot, right? He likes to say that the human species, we waste our time in trying to develop material things like technology, science, economy, the government, and all that, right? And so my question is Prabhupada actually saying that we shouldn't worry about improving all this stuff, and we should just associate ourselves in devotional life, and I mean, and if so, wouldn't you say that that's kind of because these things, some of them, they have actually improved things that are actually useful, and things that are actually beneficial to our society. So what can you comment on that?
Yes, so Srila Prabhupada, he wanted to create a society of Brahmanas, as I was saying. And yes, not everybody is going to become a Brahmana. We have this wonderful temple here. We have a big temple room. How many people are here? Just a handful of us, right? So the people will act according to their natures, right? And if they act according to their natures and they produce, like this microphone, this phone, the cell phone, they're producing technology like this, so we can help them also. And how do we help them? By using this in the service of Krishna, right? Using technology in the service of Krishna, and in that way, whoever made this will get the benefit of that, right? So here, take for example, Prabhupada gives another example in the Bhagavatam. If one eats meat and he says, well, I'm not killing the animal, why should I get the karma, right? But from the time the animal is slaughtered, until it's transported and put into the butcher, right, shop, and person purchasing the meat, the person that cooks the meat, all those people get the karma of that, right? So similarly, the person who produces this microphone and we use it in the service of Krishna, then they will get the benefit of our, they will get punya, they will get pious credits to their names just by producing this. So not everybody in society will become Brahmanas, right? Not everybody in society, because everyone has their own natures and they're endowed with these own natures, right? Someone will want to act like a Kshatriya, someone will want to act like a Vaishya, right? So not everybody will come up to the standard of Brahmana, but the society is so nice that, anyone can take up to Krishna consciousness and try to make their life perfect, whether you're a Kshatriya, Sudra, whatever you are, right? You just take up to the process of chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, and make your life perfect, right?
So in a sense, it's like you're saying that it's okay that we improve technology and all this as long as we use them in service of the Supreme.
Yes. It's fine. Use whatever talent one has. If somebody likes to cook for Krishna. If somebody likes to make art, do art, then draw for Krishna. Like you see all these beautiful paintings here, right? They're done by devotees. So devotee artists, so they use their talent in Krishna consciousness. So we have to dovetail our talents in Krishna consciousness. So in this way, life will be beautiful. Right? And you like to act, so you're acting for Krishna. Give him my clap. Right, and I watched the play. It was very nice, the drama. So carry on, with your drama, very well. Right. Anything else? Anyone would like to comment on Rukmini? Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Go Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.